welcome. I'm going to be making baked mac and cheese. I did make this recipe up on my own. I seen a couple videos and then I was like, you know what? I was like, one day I was making mac and cheese and I was like, actually, I should make it baked. So I started putting like cheese on it and stuff. And I was like, actually, crush up some croutons and put them on top and then do another layer of cheese. That's what I did and it turned out amazing. At least that could be biased because some people could think that's disgusting on how I made it, you know? So anyway, my hypothesis could be biased, but I imagine that it'll cook like good and melt evenly and like taste good, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Materials is measuring cups, cooking spoon, pot, pan, water, stove, fridge, sink, sliced cheese, noodles, croutons, milk, butter, table, phone to record with, oven mitts, strainer, plastic bag, cup. My safety concerns would be to have parent supervision because the pot will be used on the oven and stove, so it'll be hot. Well, not in the oven, but like on the stove. So it'll get hot, and I don't want anybody to burn themselves. And the water's gonna be boiling, and if you're not watching carefully, it could go over, and then it could start burning, and it could cause a little bit of a fire. Like not a big fire, but like it could start sizzling. It's kind of scary. It scares me sometimes, and I cook like all the time. But the procedures is you're gonna wash your hands. So let me go do that real quick. Got soap in my hand, and I'm gonna turn on the water. Take this towel. I'm gonna dry off my hands. Okay, so then you're gonna take your pot, and I'm gonna be putting 6 cups of water. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we're going to set this over here just in case we need it again. And I'm going to pause my video, move it over here, and I'll show you guys what I do next. Okay, so we're going to take my pot, put it on the stove, turn it on high, and I'm going to take some, where did salt go? So I use pink Himalayan salt. It's healthier for you, and it's healthier for you, and it's stronger, so you don't have to use as much of it. So I'm just going to open. So it lets out a little bit, it lets out a little more than a little bit, and then it lets out a whole bunch. There's this one, or there's this one. I don't need a bunch of little holes. I'm going to use this one, and we're just going to sprinkle about a teaspoon in there. I didn't measure that out. I forgot to, but it'll be okay because I use not that much. Then you're gonna take your spoon and you're gonna kind of mix the salt into the water because you don't want just a pile sitting at the bottom. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I prefer to mix my salt in with my water. And then while this starts to cook, I'm just going to take this and set it over top. There's a myth that when your water starts boiling, once you have your noodles in it, which you don't put your noodles in yet till the water's boiling, but once the water is boiling, you put like a wooden spatula or something over top, like across, it will, what am I trying to think of? It will make like the bubbles not go over, you know? So while that is cooking, you're gonna want to take a bowl and a fork. I'm gonna take my fork out right now. But you're gonna open up your macaroni and cheese. I prefer to mix my sauce before and like mix my sauce together. Uh-oh, just dropped some noodles. Throw away all your trash. Now you're gonna want to wash your hands because you did stick your hand over the trash can. Close my hand. Turn off your water. Grab your towel. Dry off your hand. Okay. So you're just gonna shake it down. Get all the contents down. I'm gonna tear it off. And it's gonna be white-ish. I thought it was gonna be white. It's like a orange. Which is good. Alright, so now I'm just gonna stick this in here. And I'm gonna wait to throw it away so I don't have to wash my hands again because I just did wash my hands. Okay, so now you're gonna take your 1 tablespoon and you're gonna get 1 tablespoon. I use, here, hold on. I'll close up back up my butter. Make sure to wash your surface too that you're going to be cooking on, just in case you do drop anything that you shouldn't pick it up back off the counter. But if you do, just make sure to wash the surface because you're, you know, like my utensil is set down here. This is set down here, so just make sure to wash your surface before you use it. You're going to want to flatten out. I use Country Crock's butter. I'm just going to use my fork to just kind of wipe off around the sides so we don't have any excess. You want to try and get at least a tablespoon. I at least like a tablespoon of butter. You're just going to put that in there. Come on. Okay, well, we're going to have to stick that in there anyway, so I'll just stick it in there now. And then, you know, here's Country Crock, Country Farm, Country Fresh Taste, it's original. We get the family size because it, you know, we go through a lot of butter because you use butter and milk in a lot of like recipes. Then I just use vitamin D grade A whole milk. You guys can use whatever kind of milk. I prefer to use this though. So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons. This, I made this recipe up, so I had to come up with my own recipe because it tells you to put 4 tablespoons butter and a 1/4 cup of milk. But I prefer not to do it that way. You guys do it with whatever way. I do about 2 tablespoons, and then sometimes 2 tablespoons isn't enough. You know. Normally it is, but you don't want your paste super thick because it's going to be a paste. Like, you know, it looks gross, but I promise you guys, at least I think it tastes good. I was about to say promise you guys that'll taste good, but that's biased, so yeah. I'm just gonna keep mixing this, and like I feel that it might be able to use another, you'll see after I get all the powder mixed in, might be able to use another tablespoon of milk. No, it's actually good. So now, since there's milk in this, hold on, I'm gonna wash up my hands. I'll get that stuff in. Okay, so now that it's got butter in it, you're gonna want to put this in the fridge because you don't want the butter, the milk to go bad in this. So you're gonna set this aside, and then I have another thing, hold on. Also remember to put your butter and milk away because we are done with that. And you can go ahead and put this in your sink because we're done with that too. So I also forgot to mention that you might want to just take your hair and kind of put it up in like a low ponytail, or like a low bun or a high bun, it doesn't matter. Preferably low, because then it just keeps all of the, like, it just helps not get like hair in your food, just because that's kind of gross to find like a hair in your baked mac and cheese or just anything in general. So I just put my hair in a little ponytail. I'm gonna wash my hands again since I did just mess with my hair. So I get our 2 pumps of soap in our hand. I'm just going to rub that in. Okay. Then you're going to take your croutons, which I like to use the butter and garlic and the ranch ones. So just gonna open these. Whoa. Then you're gonna put them in a baggie. You can't see me. I'm gonna put these in a baggie. Okay, that's probably good. Some people like a thick layer, some people like a thin layer of croutons. So now you're just gonna take this, you're just gonna squeeze the air out of it. Okay, so I'm going to mash these up, and I will come back to you guys when these are all smushed and good. Okay, so I was just talking, realized that it was paused. It's a 3 cheese mac and cheese, but I'm gonna come back to you guys when I'm ready to put my noodles in there, and yeah. Okay, so we are ready to pour our noodles into our pot. So we're just gonna go like this, and then once they're in there, you want to stir them to make sure that your noodles don't stick to the bottom. And once you're done, you're just gonna I prefer to take my spoon, set it just like that first step. And I will be back to you guys when my noodles are done, and I'll show you guys me straining them and then doing everything else. So be back. Okay, so right now I'm going to have to take my noodles. I'm going to take this pot with all the noodles in it and a strainer. Just going to empty my water, and then I'm going to shake out all the water. Sounds kind of gross, but you want to make sure you get all the water out. And you're going to take it, you're going to pour them back in here. Take your strainer, put it back in the spoon. Then you're going to want to take off your oven mitts or whatever. I'm going to grab the cheese. once you take it out of the fridge, it kind of thickened it back up. And this is still smoking, so you want to actually put some water down the drain with it, because it can melt the pipes, because the stove gets hotter than water, well, our water at least, so we gotta do that. Okay, so now I'm gonna move you guys back over here, because I'm going to take the noodles and pour them, well, not pour them, take them, oh, sorry, Rizzy. Sorry, I hit my dog in the face. My foot by accident. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we're going to put it like that. Okay, so now we're going to take our, hold on. Okay, so obviously it's kind of heated up now because it just touched that. Now we're just going to kind of scrape this out. If you're having trouble scraping it out, just get a thingamabob and a spatula. There. And mix this cheese in with it. That's not all the cheese, but you want to kind of mix it in. We're going to set our fork off to the side real quick, and I'm just going to kind of scoop everything out. For me, I can get everything out with this thing. Okay, so we're just gonna stir this all together. Now I'm gonna go get my pan real quick and bring it over here to get this all mixed together. Okay. So then, well, I gotta move my charging cord because phone was about to die when I was about to make this video. But we got our pan, we got a pot with almost all of our cheese. It's probably this much cheese left in it. So we're just gonna try and scoop all of the excess out, just because you want to get as much cheese as you can. Because they give you all that cheese sauce for a reason. Alright, so right now, I'm gonna take this bowl and I'm actually gonna put it in the sink. I'm going to mix the rest of this cheese in. Okay, before we pour any of this in here, you need to go turn your oven to 350. Once that is mixed, you're going to take, I did about half of a cup of croutons. Just pour in as much as you feel, but I did about a half cup. I'm not really even showing this well. Good job. There you go. Okay. So I'm just going to take the rest of my mac and cheese and pour it in here. Now I'm going to scrape the mac and cheese off this. Put it in there. Now we're going to make our layer flat. Okay, so we're going to do a layer of cheese. So I am going to do, of course, sorry guys. So I'm going to take about 4 slices of this cheese. It's actually Kraft singles. And you're just going to take it, put one there, and you see it already kind of like sticking there and melting. I'm going to do one here. And all of these kind of just fit in there. And I could have probably used like an extra one just to, but it might end up too cheesy if I do that. So now that we have that, we're going to do a layer of all of our croutons, the crouton layer. I think this is going to turn out pretty well tasting. This will actually be my 4th time making this recipe, so it's still pretty new to the family, but everybody likes it in my house, so works. Then, once we do that layer, we're going to do another layer of cheese. my dog is waiting for a piece of cheese because my mom normally gives them a Kraft single when they get inside. So sometimes, not all the time. Then you're gonna just finish taking out your cheese. I'm going to clean the dishes from this and clean up the area, and then I will come back to you guys when it is all done and I'm serving it. Right now it looks like this, and I'm going to pop it in my oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I will be back. So yeah. So here's the finished product of my baked mac and cheese. Ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna take a bite. It tastes really good. Also, when you are done cooking, make sure to turn your oven off so it doesn't keep heating up your house, or just in general, keep it going, because then that can cause a fire if you guys go to sleep at night or something and you leave it on all day. Basically, gonna go over the procedures and the directions all at once. So the procedures are, well, steps I should say. Step 1, wash your hands. Step 2, get all your ingredients. Step 3, get all your cooking utensils. Step 4, measure out 6 cups of water into your pot. Put your pot on the stove, turn it on high. Make sure parent knows that you're cooking. Step 7, mix packet of cheese with 2 tablespoons milk, 1 tablespoon butter. Set in the fridge because there's milk in it. Step 8, water is boiling, add noodles. Step 9, let noodles cook for 10 to 15 minutes or until tender. Step 10, drain the noodles. Step 11, put noodles back in your pot, then set oven to 350. Get your cheese sauce, and pour it in your pot and mix it all into the noodles. Then put it in your pan, put a layer of cheese, then your layer of croutons, then another layer of cheese, and then put it in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. Take it out and enjoy. As for the directions, and yeah. And then for the materials, sorry, I have it all wrote down just to make sure I'm listing off everything right. But for the materials, you're going to need a measuring cup, a cooking spoon, pot, pan, water, stove, fridge, sink, packet of cheese, and then, not packet of cheese, your packet of cheese, your sliced cheese, your noodles, your croutons, milk, butter, table, phone to record, oven mitt, strainer, plastic bag, and then a little cup to smush the croutons in the plastic bag. Then the safety concerns are parent supervision, because we will be using the oven and stove. Well, we did use the oven and stove. And then the pot will be on the oven, so it'll be hot. Hot water is going to be boiling, and if you're not watching carefully, it can boil over, and then it can kind of cause a little fire. So, I got materials and directions. And I got my safety concerns, procedures, and the results is that, yeah. And then, my conclusion, hold on, I'll make this paper. The conclusion, alright. Hold on. Okay, so it says, how could you alter the procedure to make it more accurate for another scientist to follow your recipe? What should the modification accomplish or change regarding the end results? I would say that maybe not do 2 layers of the sliced cheese, because normally I used shredded, but we didn't have shredded, so I used sliced, and that would have been better. It's got a strong taste, so I think maybe I could have just done 1 layer, and it would have tasted a lot better probably, but it still tasted really good. it just was really cheesy. Next question is, did someone sample the end product? What was their feedback about the recipe? Were there any recommendations to alter the procedures or materials? My mom also agreed with me that there should have been only like 1 layer of cheese. And my mom and brother both said that it tasted good. That was a sample, and their feedback about the recipe was that it was good. My mom's feedback was it was good. It just needed 1 less layer of cheese. Reflection: what changes could someone make to the recipe to make it easier to follow? Enhance the flavor, not set off the smoke alarm, etc. Amount of ingredients, cook time, add to procedure, etc. So I already gave you guys my procedure. Cook time is 10 to 15 minutes. And then the amount of ingredients would be, let's see. I don't know the exact amount of ingredients, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Hold on. 7 to 8 ingredients. How to not set off the smoke alarm is pay attention to your food and don't burn it, because if you burn it, then obviously you weren't paying attention to how you're cooking it. Also, I would potentially like my lab shared, because I kind of want other people to see my work, I guess. This is kind of a long video, but I would prefer for my work to be shared. So, yeah. And the changes, like I keep saying, to enhance the flavor, probably take out, like, put some seasonings in, like, the cheese, like the cheese mixer where you do the milk, butter, and, like, the cheese powder. It would probably fix that, I guess. And then take a layer of cheese, of the sliced cheese away, just because that does kind of make it a little too cheesy. But anyway, thank you guys for watching me make mac and cheese. And hopefully I'll be back later this year with another recipe. So, yeah. See you later.